What is up, girlfriends? Finally doing it. I said I would do it. I'm doing the video on Cryaotic. Ryan Terry, as his full name is. So for any of those who are uninitiated or simply weren't around back then or aware of the big creators at the time, back in YouTube's old days, Cryaotic. Chaotic Monkey, or whatever the fuck you want to call him, whatever his YouTube channel handle is. He is the guy who we've all seen collaborate with PewDiePie in some of those co-op videos. That's what he's mostly known for. But he's also got his own thing on the side where he would do this pretty much the same thing PewDiePie would do. He would do let's plays of horror games and other types of games. He mainly specialized in sort of like narrative driven stuff, whereas PewDiePie was more of a reaction based playthrough kind of person. Cry was a more he liked showing the narratives of games and liked narrating and doing like visual novels and like that kind of stuff. And my relationship to him is I was a viewer. I watched Cry and was introduced to him through PewDiePie's content, and I really liked his content. I really liked Cry's content. I wouldn't say I was the biggest fan, but Cry was one of the people that I would watch very regularly. And for the longest time, he had this perception of being like a very chill guy, a very respectable dude, very chill dude, and that he could do no wrong because he's such a respectable and nice and understanding guy. Lo and behold, shocker, that's not true. It's usually never true, right? And I'll get to that later on in the video. This video isn't going to be necessarily focusing on the crimes that he did, you know, the people that he abused. There's plenty of videos that are covering that cover like the chronological order of like the victims in each individual case. That's all been said and done. What we know about that whole debacle that happened 2 years ago of him being outed as a sexual predator on not just young girls but mainly of age women. He would mainly prey on them and put them in situations where they couldn't really tell him no, and they were manipulated and abused by him mentally. If you want a chronological retelling, there's a Reddit thread. It's pretty short compared to like a 10 or 20 minute video you could watch on YouTube. You can just go to that Reddit thread. It gives you bullet points of like from the first accusation all the way to like other side shit that got outed, because Cry wasn't the only abuser in his little circle of friends. There was another dude who was a lot more like pedophilic than Cry, I would say. We're going to be focusing more on the toxic personality that is Cry and what really got us to this situation and position, because the whole thing that happened with Cry 2 years ago, it's not a unique situation at all. We can literally look throughout history of many instances of people who were in a similar situation of gaining a lot of fame and then feeling like they're fucking invincible. So quickly, I want to mention, before we get on to the main portion of the video, Cry's recent video, We Stopped Being Honest a long time ago. That video is, I think, holds some pretty telling information that he has disclosed for us. While he did initially deny the allegations of, you know, sexual misconduct against minors, you know, he said he didn't know the age, which it seems to be the case that he didn't know the age of a lot of the minors, but other times it was just cases where he just completely disregarded it and just like it was made clear to him, or at least heavily implied, that they were a minor, and he just didn't seem to fucking care. Which it still makes him a sexual predator, right? But that's not the point. He said in his video that Cry, what he would do is that he felt like he could do no wrong, and he says this in his video. He admits this, that he felt like he could do no wrong, and it's because he surrounded himself with worshipers, with people who would endlessly worship and be like, yes, Cry, you're amazing, you're great, I love you, Cry, blah, blah, blah. He would surround himself with people like that. And it would give him this perception of invincibility, where it's just like, yeah, I'm a really stand-up guy. Yeah, I'm a really cool dude, and I can really do no wrong, and I'm just really morally righteous in everything that I do. I think that's very telling. And it really serves the main point of this video, that I think fame is less of a corrupter, but more like an enabler, right? Fame can do a lot of things to people. I don't believe it can instantly corrupt people. I think fame can also make people better. Fame can sometimes make people better people. I can't think of any examples off the top of my head, but I'm sure they exist. So it's not to go with the typical narrative of just like absolute power corrupts absolutely, fame is poison, all blah blah blah. You know, it's more like fame is more of like a catalyst to what you truly are, and I think fame really shows people who they really are, right? Not necessarily in the forefront, but it gets them to do and act in certain ways that I don't feel like they would normally had they not be famous, right? If you get what I'm saying. Because Cry in his fame, him surrounding himself with a bunch of worshipers, I think that really served his ego, which sounded like it was already pretty abnormally huge. Even before he started making videos, I think Cry thought highly of himself. But on top of the worshiping and surrounding himself with worshipers, it really served to bolster that ego and inflate it more than it ever could be. And I think that's what really drove Cry to abuse and hurt a lot of these women and girls. The main focus of this video is, what can we take away from this? What is the takeaway from this whole situation? Should he come back? Abso-fucking-lutely not. Someone like Cry, he has shown himself to be very, very untrustworthy. I don't even if he might have changed, even theoretically, let's say it's been 2 years, he might have changed for the better. I still don't think he should come back. Even on his video where he admits to his wrongdoings, generally speaking, he kind of slides around a bit, kind of dodges it a little bit, but generally speaking, he admits to wrongdoing. He admits to cheating on his girlfriend, the girlfriend that he met when she was a minor, and then he was, I think the story goes, he was like 19 and she was like 16. So like, yeah, that's kind of fucking yikesy. There are people on that video, that his recent upload 2 years ago, that are begging for him to come back. He still has those worshipers. He still has those viewers. And if Cry were to ever come back and make a statement, I think it should, if he were to do any of that, he should tell people, stop fucking worshiping me. Stop fucking doing this shit. Okay? I'm not coming back. Don't ever fucking beg for me to come back. You're doing nothing but hurting the victims. Okay? They've gone through enough shit. Okay? Stop telling me to come back. Stop asking me to come back. I'm not gonna come back. If he were to come with like a full statement, because he's never came out with like a full statement of what happened. He just gave this like little wishy-washy video, and then said that he would later come out with like a full video explaining himself and all that kind of shit, because he made the video when he was like having a breakdown or some shit. Another thing that can be taken away from this situation is that we should never assume that we know the creators, the content creators that we watch. I think it's important to make a distinction between a content creator and viewer relationship. I think that should be heavily reevaluated in the modern day, and we need to stop with this parasocial shit that's going on the internet, because I feel like that enables a lot of people who already have like underlining issues of ego, and it gives them that motivation to just be like, I guess I could just do whatever the fuck I want, right? And take what I want because I'm just that big of a deal. And it's happened before. We've seen it with Harvey Weinstein, and we've seen it as recently as literally a fucking week ago with Andrew Callahan. Literally the same shit happened. Women came out saying this guy violated my boundaries. He pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed until he got what he wanted. And I feel like fame has a lot to do with that motivation to be like, I'm just going to keep pushing until I get what I want, because everyone loves me. I'm Andrew Callahan. Everyone loves me on Harvey Weinstein. I'm one of the greatest producers in Hollywood, blah, 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 all that kind of shit. Right? It gives them this feeling of like invincibility, right? And it really gets people to do a lot of awful shit. Again, to go back to the whole like viewer-creator relationship, I feel like we need to have a bit more of a meta understanding of that and how it works. You know, we should never relentlessly worship the people that we watch, because we well and truly don't know them. We don't know them. We don't know their intentions. We don't know if they have the best intentions. We don't know what they're like behind closed doors. They could be really fucking awful people, as we've seen over and over and over and over and over again. I also want to be clear that I'm not blaming viewers for what happened, but I think it will help. I think it helps to take a step back and acknowledge how that content creator and viewer relationship can be used to leverage to get us to do a lot of pretty much the biddings of the content creator, you know, and it gets us to say and do things that we wouldn't have otherwise. That relationship can be heavily abused in the wrong hands. And while some creators do use that for good, I think it's probably best that we have a better understanding of that relationship, and, you know, us setting our own boundaries and being like, if we were to come in contact with our favorite creators, that we not latch onto them and try our hardest to be their friend and try our hardest to get their approval, because at the end of the day, you don't know them, and you wouldn't ever mindlessly thrust yourself on a stranger and attach hardcore to them and, you know, try really, really hard to be their friend. It's like, that's essentially what it is when you do that to one of your favorite creators. They are a stranger. You don't know them, right? It makes no sense to sort of like throw yourself on there, right? So this also goes out to the viewers on Cry's channel that keep begging for him to come back. Please fucking stop doing that, okay? It's not good. You're not helping anybody. It's really selfish. It's really selfish for you to sit there and beg for him to come back. Continue, like, the comments as recent as like a couple fucking weeks ago, right? And with like hundreds of likes, right? It's like, this needs to stop. This whole parasocial shit needs to fucking stop. It gets people to do a lot of awful shit, and I feel like, you know, that'll be mitigated if we just have a better understanding of a content creator and viewer relationship. That's essentially it. It's a fairly short video. Be sure to like and subscribe. Do all that kind of shit. Like I said in my community post, I'm gonna try and lean more into more casual videos, because I see that those do a lot better. So essentially what I'm saying is, watch out for a lot more femboy focused content, because that seems to do really fucking good for my channel. And also, like, I might try to lean and experiment a little bit with more gameplay type stuff, because that SCP video did really, 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 really fucking good. And if I do another one and it does good, fuck, right? Like I've gone this far, I've invested this much into commentary, and now I'm starting to think like, fuck, maybe I should just make SCP videos. But, you know, whatever. Do the thing, you know, really helps channel. Please, I'm trying to do a thing that's cool and chill and have a lot more nuanced discussions and commentary, all that kind of shit. If you find it interesting, do the thing, you know, because that's cool and rad.